us for the 2019 Relay for Life Volunteer Social Media Training Series, Instagram and Beyond. We'll be getting started here in just 2 minutes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2019 Relay for Life Volunteer Social Media Training Series. Tonight's topic is Instagram and Beyond. We'll be touching on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn best practices. My name is Perry Reed, and I'll be one of your presenters tonight. I've been a relayer now for 10 years. I got started with the Relay for Life of UCLA. Since then, I've taken roles with the California division at the time, and right now I'm currently the online chair for the West region, as well as the training chair for the Global Relay for Life program. My background is in media psychology, so I'm very interested in studying how people respond to different types of media to drive behavior and action. With me tonight, I have Alex Dang, who's your co-presenter. So Alex, I'll turn it over to you to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Perry. So, greetings everyone. My name is Alex Dang, and I am your co-presenter for today. And so I have been relaying for about 3 years so far, and I am on the EOT of East Pasco in Florida. I'm one of the team members who run the social media for my local relay of East Pasco, as well as run other social media platforms for clubs I am in. And so with that, I'll pass it back to Perry.
Great, thanks, Alex. And just a little bit of housekeeping. This is the second part of a series of online training sessions. These will be available afterwards on Relay Connect. And also, if you'd like to share your email address in the chat box, we'll make sure you get a follow-up as well. Throughout our session tonight, you'll be able to share questions in the chat box. We'll answer some of them along the way, and any we don't get to, we'll save for the end of the session tonight. So let's get started. Tonight, we're going to be covering Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. Again, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to leave a comment and we'll make sure we answer it before the end of the session. All right, and I have a question for you all. I wanted to know the answers to the following questions. You'll be able to respond to the poll on your screen. First of all, I want to know if your cell phone is less than 4 feet away from you right now. We'll give it just a couple more seconds. All right, so that's a lot of yeses. Okay, I have another question for you. At some point today, have you picked up your cell phone and looked at it, even though you knew it hadn't made any noise and nobody had contacted you? Isn't that incredible? 100% of us did that. We instinctively went, picked up our phone, even though we knew somebody hadn't been contacting us at that moment. All right, just a couple more questions for you. Do you sleep with your phone right next to your bed? All right, a little bit more split this time, but we have about 83% of people have their phone right next to them when they sleep. And here's my final question for you. Do you check Facebook, email, or text messages before you even get out of bed in the morning? All right, we got about 69% of people say yes. They're on social media or on their email or text before they're even rolling out of bed in the morning. So, the purpose of these polls is to show the power of technology. We use our smartphones all the time. We go on social media, we check emails, we do all of these things right from these screens that are basically a part of our lives. So, Relay has always been about social networks. Even going back to the 1980s when Dr. Gordy Klatt first ran the track, it was all about building a network of people. Now the technology's changed, so all we need to do is make sure we're updating our tactics to meet people where they're currently at, which is online with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So with that, I'm going to be passing it back over to Alex to talk about Instagram.
Hi, thanks, Barry. And so one of our main topics for tonight, topics of discussion for today is Instagram, of course. And so Instagram is a free online photo sharing social media platform that is available on various devices such as iPhone, Android, and your computer. Instagram now has over 1 billion active users and more than 500 million Instagram users worldwide every day. So I'll pass it back on to Perry to show you about the demographics.
Sure, thanks, Alex. I wanted to share a few key points on demographics because you may be wondering who are on these different channels. So if we look at Instagram use by age range, we see that about 64% of 18 to 29-year-olds are on Instagram, 40% of 30 to 49-year-olds, 21% of 50 to 64-year-olds, and 10% of our 65 plus population. So it's definitely skewed younger. Instagram is very popular with younger generations. And while other age groups are growing in their use, when we're using Instagram, we want to be very mindful that typically we're speaking to a younger audience. All right, and I'll pass it back to Alex.
All right. So on Instagram, you can post up to 10 pictures or videos all in one post. And so with each video being 60 seconds max, you can have at most 10 1-minute videos in which you can have up to 10 minutes in one singular post. So even though you can do this, it isn't suggested as your audience may lose interest throughout the other posts. So keep a good length and make it powerful. You can learn more about the power of videos in the previous social media training on Relay Connect called Social Media Strategies. So, stories. Instagram stories. So this slide is going to show the powers of Instagram stories versus regular Instagram posts that shows up in your feed. So Instagram stories stays on top of your home feed and on your profile picture for at most 24 hours. And on top, you can see with those round circles around the profile picture, those indicate that these profiles and accounts have a story. So once you click on them, you can see their story and view them or share them. And so Instagram stories have various tools that are only available to stories, as you can see on the left. Tools such as polls, questions, and a tool called scroll, which allow you to interact with your audience. And so the countdown tool is a great tool to let your audience view and share when your local event is. I personally use this frequently when an event is coming up because others can share this exact countdown on their stories as well. And when the countdown hits 0, there's a celebration of confetti. So Instagram is a great way to post updates to your audience and post what's happening. And so You can also highlight these stories from you can also highlight Instagram posts from others onto your story, which is a great way to interact with people and show others in your local community about your event or share other people's story. So, feed. These type of posts last forever until you delete it. And this will show up directly in people's home feed, which for example on your right. And with posting, you get a more in-depth insight, which we will be touching on very soon. And so with these type of posts, they'll show up directly in people's home feed. And so hashtags. Hashtags is a great way to get noticed and gain new followers. And not only to gain new followers, but to interact with them and see the posts that people put out there with a certain hashtag. And so, official Relay for Life hashtags are hashtag Relay for Life, hashtag Why I Relay, and hashtag Attacking Cancer. You can use that hashtag Why I Relay for your local Relay for Life account to try to get attention from the bigger Relay for Life and have their story highlighted as well. So, you can also create a hashtag for your own local event. And so, this is a great way to see posts of people who attended your event, and a great way to interact with them and perhaps have some one-on-one engagement. So, next, business account. Making your Instagram profile into a business account may make your profile have a more professional and have a more official feel. This gives you the ability to promote posts to increase your reach into those who aren't already following you. So, like this photo here on the left, you can see the official Relay for Life Instagram, in which you can create an you can be easy accessible to your audience and viewers by setting up different ways that people can contact you. As you can see, Relay for Life has enabled the option to call, but you can also have the contact option of email or direct message. So next, you can see from making a business account, you can see which type of post does best from numerous amount of data they provide. You can see how many people visited your profile from a certain post they may have saw, or how many people that a certain post reach, such as the percent of people who don't already follow you and the percent of people who do. As well, you can also see impressions as well made from the home page compared to from the explore page or even from the usage of hashtags. So you can learn more about your followers, but in order to do this, you must have at least 100 followers to learn about your audience, such as their age and gender. And again, you have the ability to easily promote your posts, which is great for advertising your local event or fundraisers. So, insights. If you're just starting out your Instagram page and trying to grow it, try experimenting with different types of posts, such as if you use hashtags or tag people and see which one works the best for your audience and gets the most interactions, such as likes or comments. And now I'll pass it back on to Perry.
Great, thank you, Alex. Our next topic is Facebook. Now, you may have heard that the younger generations are no longer on Facebook and that they've all moved away from it. That's actually not true. What is true is that our 65 plus age group is the fastest growing Facebook demographic. But we still see 18 to 29-year-olds, 81% are on Facebook. 30 to 49-year-olds, we see 78% on Facebook. 50 to 64, we see 65%. In 65 plus, we see 41%. So we still have a large population that's using Facebook. Now, because Facebook is not our main topic for tonight, I'm going to keep it brief, but I do want to touch on a couple key points. Creating a Facebook page makes your business or local event page feel more professional and organized compared to a personal account. And there's a lot of different information and numbers from the insights. So if you're not a really big data or statistics person, it gives you a lot of colorful graphs and tables to show you who's looking at your stuff and how they're using it. Are they liking it? Are they commenting it? Are they sharing it? Facebook really helps you reach your target audience. If you're crafty, you could actually do some boosted posts, which is where with a little bit of advertisement spend, you're able to increase it. However, this isn't always needed for a local relay event. A nice part about using Facebook pages versus groups is that it's a lot more branded and you have control over the page. Another consideration is we want to think about what's going to make it easiest for people to find your page and like it and join the conversation right away. So we know that Facebook pages are easier to share content and it's easier for people to get to. We also look at the search algorithms that Facebook uses, and while these change all the time, right now we feel confident that a Facebook page is the best way to allow new members of your community, whether they're current relayers or looking to be a relayer, to find you. You're also able to create Facebook events to share and invite your audience to. So if you're doing a team captain meeting, you can put it on there. If you're doing a fundraising night, you can put it on there. And of course, your relay event is on there. This allows you to create these events that people can RSVP to and really provide publicity for these events. Now, there's a few different types of Facebook posts. There's the photo post, which is where you upload an image and post it. We do know that people prefer looking at photos more than they like reading text. So if you are going to use text, make sure it's very brief, but we really recommend make sure you have some sort of visual image. Now, one nice feature is that if you share a link on Facebook, it'll automatically convert it into a thumbnail image when it gets posted. So for example, if you share a link to your Relay for Life event page, Facebook will automatically create a hyperlink and it'll create a nice photo from your event page and post it on Facebook. So it's very visually attractive. And we also want to emphasize video posts. Video is a very engaging tool. We see that hundreds of millions of hours of video get watched on Facebook every day. And recent data shows that when you post a video on Facebook, your engagement increases by 600%. So that means you're going to see 6 times the number of people liking your post, sharing it, or commenting it when you include video. Again, you can also do a plain text post, but we don't really recommend that. Text is not as engaging on Facebook. Now, people often have questions about the ideal image sizes. So you really want to find the sweet spot when you're posting, because if you have an image that is too large, a lot of the social media sites will not even allow you to use it because the file's too big. And then if your image quality is too small, it just won't look very professional when you post it. So we find that when you're doing, for example, a profile photo, 180 pixels by 180 is often best, or a cover photo could be 828 by 315 pixels. Now, if you're sharing a photo, we recommend doing 1200 by 630 pixels. And then when you're sharing a link, Facebook will automatically match that same size as well. So there's different tools that you can use on your computer to change the size of an image. Or if you're pulling content from the brand toolkit, the American Cancer Society has a brand toolkit with a lot of resources, you'll always find these common image sizes that are optimized for sharing socially. So again, use images whenever possible. And when you're thinking about when to post, we often see that the middle of the day is best, around 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Now, some studies show that weekends are best, and others show that the middle of the week is best. So what we really recommend is be consistent on when you post and really keep it to the middle of the day. So even though a lot of us said that we're checking Facebook before we get out of bed, we see the best engagement when we post during the day, because that allows most people, when they're on their lunch break or taking a break from their responsibilities at home, to go online for a little bit. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Alex to talk about Instagram and Facebook Live.
Thanks, Perry. A wonderful way to interact with viewers and your audience members is to use Instagram or Facebook Live. So with Instagram, you can turn on post notifications for accounts and have notifications show up on the phone, or just like Instagram stories, show up in the top part of their feed. You can also save this to your highlights, but they'll only stay for 24 hours if you enable to do so. And for Facebook, as you can see on the left, for example, you can post for Facebook Live, you can post these videos as actual posts once you're finished streaming. And this is a great way to stream important information live, but also to look back to if some people weren't there or weren't able to watch at that time. But for live streaming on Facebook, be careful about streaming music or having music on the background of your live stream, because Facebook may mute that section of your live stream if you decide to post it, because they do follow copyright laws. So the next thing we're going to talk about is Twitter. And Twitter is a great way to interact with your viewers and keep live up-to-date information. And so as you can see here, these are the Twitter's demographics, and 40% of people of the majority of ages use Instagram, which are in the 18 to the 29-year-old range. And so this is a better tool to use for the more younger generation, as only 8% or 19% use it for the 50 to 64 age range and 65 and older. So next, we're going to talk about Twitter usage. And so Twitter is a great way to keep up-to-date live information with your audience. And compared to Instagram, you can tweet more frequently since you're not always posting pictures, which may show up in their feed. And so with Twitter, you have the ability to retweet other people's tweets, just like example in this photo, such as the American Cancer Society retweeted the American Cancer Society of Philadelphia as their posts. And if you're following either the American Cancer Society tweet, you will see their retweets show up as if they posted it, but showing the account. So with Instagram, you can use hashtags just like on Instagram, and it will allow you to reach a bigger audience and to see other people's tweets who use that hashtag. So Instagram is a great way to let people know information, such as if your event had a rainy situation and you had to move to a different location, because in this type of day, people usually use tweets to send out news and receive their news. So that's a great way to use Twitter. And so another great usage for Twitter is to use polls. It's a great way to interact with them, and you can use polls to see your audience's input on things. And so you can also retweet and like their posts as well. So with that, I'll pass it on to Perry for LinkedIn.
Great. Thanks, Alex. And I'm just going to talk briefly about LinkedIn because we do get questions about it sometimes, and we don't talk about it a lot as part of our social media strategy, but there certainly could be a place to use it. So when you think about LinkedIn, it's really your personal professional image. So when you're using LinkedIn, it's really a way to network for different opportunities, mostly career jobs. It could be volunteer opportunities. So there's a couple ways that you could use LinkedIn to your advantage. First is around networking with your community. We know that doing community mapping is very important for Relay for Life events. You may have heard this called a recruitment wheel or a few other names, but essentially this is that process where your event leadership team sits down and figures out what are all the different pockets of your community and which ones are underrepresented. It could also be looking for new sponsors or different businesses that you want to interact with. So you could use your own personal LinkedIn to find people in your community. So let's say that you know the name of somebody who works at a company that you want to do a sponsorship with, or you know the name of someone who's very influential or they're on city council. You can contact them using LinkedIn by sending them a direct message. That's a pretty common use for LinkedIn. And additionally, you can create posts on LinkedIn. So when you log into LinkedIn, you see a feed of what your network has been publishing, where you could share opportunities to get involved with your Relay for Life event. Those are really the main ways to use LinkedIn for Relay for Life. You may have heard of something called LinkedIn for Nonprofits. We really don't recommend doing that right now. It requires some dollars being spent, and it's not really in line with the local community organization. So if you want to use your LinkedIn, remember it is your personal professional image. You can use it as a way to reach out to people that you've identified in your community that might be beneficial on your event leadership team. It might be people you want as team captains, or perhaps potential sponsors. All
So,
right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to pass it right back to you.
Oh, all right. So, for this portion of the time, we're going to go over any questions you may have of anything we did go over or anything we didn't go over. So, feel free to unmute yourself or comment in the group chat, and we'll answer them for you.
While everybody's thinking about their questions, I will share a great conversation we had going on in the chat box. We had a question around why are we using Facebook pages and not groups? And the reason is pages have different duties than groups, just in the way that content can be interacted with, as well as being able to boost your post and really making it searchable. So when you think of a group, it's kind of like a bubble of like-minded people who already have the same idea and are interacting around the same topic, where you can think of your relay event like a business or a brand. And that's the way we want to be interacting with Facebook. So while you may create a group for your event leadership team to talk to each other, when you're trying to get out into the community and get people involved in relay, a Facebook page is the best way to do that. For anyone who's interested in learning more, there's a link or an article link provided in the chat box. All right, and Alex, we have a question here. Is there a way to link Facebook posts to Twitter or vice versa?
Well, so Christy, you can always create Facebook posts, and for Facebook, they will have an option to share. You can share your tweet in various ways, as well as Twitter. So you can simply, I'm pretty sure there's an option to share to Twitter if you're logged in, as well as copy links of tweets onto Facebook posts. And on Instagram is a great way to share Instagram posts as well on Instagram, as an option right before you post to check it. no problem. All right. So, also have a question from Winona. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. She said, what do you do when you're following the best practices you're teaching us and the staff partner and event lead do not follow them, posting at inappropriate times? So, Perry, would you like to take over this question?
Sure. So, Winona, that's a great question because now you are a guru and an expert, and you want to make sure everyone knows the same information. So, definitely the first thing I would do is share the information that you received tonight from this post. And remember that this content that we're covering tonight will be made available on Relay Connect. So, you can definitely work with your staff partner and your event leads to understand the best practices that you learned here tonight officially from the Relay Connect resource. Typically, we see people post at different times because they don't understand the impact. So usually having a conversation and perhaps doing a few posts and showing the differences in the results is a good way to get buy-in so that everybody understands there's a method to the madness on when we post.
Hey guys, it's Keisha. I just have a quick question. Do y'all have any thoughts about checking hashtags or hashtag best practices or anything like that that you've seen for developing something for your local event? I didn't check one time, and so it kind of bit me in the rear, but I know we all try to get creative, so I didn't know if you guys had any cool ideas of things you've done or seen or anything like that.
Great question. Alex, do you want to share first?
Yeah, I'll be glad to. So, for using hashtags, I personally myself created a hashtag for our local Relay for Life event. You can personalize this any way you want or create any hashtag you want, but be sure to make it appropriate and good appropriate length. So when people are posting, people can easily type it in right under their caption or anything they like. You can create this for Instagram, Twitter, um, Facebook as well, and people can use this to show posts about your event and you, as well as people following these hashtags, they can see people in the community and they can share. And so you can also use hashtags such as your local area, such as hashtag New York, such as any city or community that you use. You can try to use that hashtag to try to reach potential businesses that may follow that hashtag to reach more customers. You can use that hashtag as well to maybe potentially get businesses or sponsors to your event. Sorry if that wasn't clear.
No, that's good, Alex. And I think the sound is breaking up a little on your end. But to add to that as well, we definitely don't recommend using too many hashtags on a post, but sometimes it's okay to use a couple. So, for example, when I was doing the Relay for Life of UCLA, we had our event hashtag, I believe it was something like Relay UCLA, that we used every year. And the reason being is that even though social media is very timely, we built up a good bank of content over time. So as we were getting the new year's going, if people search the hashtag, they could at least see all the great posts from just a few months back at the Relay event. And keep in mind that hashtags can be used by anyone. So think about the audience that you're trying to reach. So for example, like building off of Alex's example, let's say that you're in New York and you're trying to get the word out about volunteerism in New York. So if people are using the New York Volunteers hashtag, for example, completely making that up, that could be a good way where you can share posts with people outside of your network who might not have found it otherwise. But keep in mind, if you just use, hashtag volunteer, you're going to get millions of responses, a lot of which won't be related to your topic. So make sure you strike that balance of who are you trying to reach.
So to answer Keisha's chat, she asked, sorry, and should we use the same year for the hashtags or make it match the theme of the specific year? So if that's relating to hashtags, if you want to use the hashtag every year for your local relay event, that will create, what I believe, what going off what Perry said, to allow viewers to see those hashtags and posts from numerous years of your own relay event, which may allow people to gain interest. Is that, wow, what a big event. This has been going on for so long now. We should go. But you can also create a hashtag that has the year in it, such as Relay for Life of any place in 2019, 2020, and that'll create a pretty much a collage of pictures of people who use that hashtag for that year.
Yes, and to build off of Alex's question, if you're trying to figure out if a hashtag is already in use, I recommend just going on Google and searching for hashtag search engine. There's plenty of resources out there. Like the first one is hashaddit.com. There's Hashtagify. There's a few, but I definitely recommend going through Google. The reason being that the results change often. As social media is so common these days, we have a lot of people that are creating new services to search hashtags, and at the same time, some of the more common ones go away or become paid services. So if you're ever not sure if a hashtag is being used, just go on Google, search for hashtag search engine, and you can use any of those results to see who's currently using that hashtag. All right, any more questions? All right, well, we do want to share some additional resources. You'll find links to these as well when we post this content on Relay Connect. These are great tools that you can use to help you with your social media management. I'll just highlight a few of them. Talking about Facebook groups again, a great use for a Facebook group is when you have some like-minded people who need to share information with each other. So you definitely want to check out the RFL Online Chair Facebook group. Definitely go on Relay Connect. That's the hub for Relay for Life resources, and you can even find a social media playbook. If you're looking for images and logos and templates to be able to post on social media, make sure you check out Brand Toolkit. Everything you see there is fantastic, well-branded, and approved for use. And most of the time you'll see that they've already made sure it's the exact right image size that you need to post on social media. You might have seen in the chat box earlier, a couple of people mentioned Hootsuite. That's a tool that helps you pre-plan out when your social media post will take place. They have a great tips and best practices article that we share down here at the bottom. So hootsuite.com/pages/landing/academy sharing content. So that's just a few examples of the additional resources. Again, we highly recommend after this call, taking some time to explore all of those resources. And even though that's the end of tonight's session, it is not the end of our 2019 training series. So today we completed Instagram and beyond. On April 1st, we have using your Relay website to its full potential. On April 15th, we have publicity, doing more with less. On April 29th, we have You Asked, We Answer. And then in May, we'll have another session on practical tips for social media account managers. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope we see you on the remaining series. Alex and I will stay on the line for a few minutes in case anyone else has additional questions. But if you're good for tonight, you're free to go. And we thank you so much for joining us.